Hey there everyone, Katie Freiling here, and I have a very powerful and transformational video to share with you today. Now, as entrepreneurs, one of the biggest challenges and roadblocks that we face on our path to success is overcoming our own limiting beliefs, our own limiting thoughts that hold us back from really being and expressing and living our true power and potential. So let's say, for example, that the thought comes up, I don't have value. So as you know, an internet entrepreneur and with the world of content creation and putting value into the community and attracting people to you through value, one of the biggest beliefs or limiting beliefs that I see come up for people is, well, I don't really have value. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to really think that I'm valuable or like me. So let's take a look at that belief, because that is a limiting belief. It will hold you back from being able to take action and create success. So that is simply a thought that comes up in the mind. And it really is our minds that create most of the problems and illusions that exist in our realities. But it's simply a thought that comes up, right? Well, it's not just a thought that came up in that one moment. This has probably, most likely, been a thought that has been a repeating pattern coming into your life for who knows how long, probably most of your life. So it can be very challenging to deconstruct and release and overcome limiting beliefs that are not just one-time thoughts, that actually are very deeply ingrained patterns of thought and patterns of belief that have been holding us back in many ways in various different forms. So I am sharing with you today a 4-step strategy to overcoming limiting beliefs once and for all. Now, I actually learned this from Byron Katie, who's an amazing spiritual author and teacher, and she talks about 4 steps or 4 questions to ask yourself to really see through the illusion of our own limiting beliefs. So the first one, the first step and the first question is to take the belief when it comes up, so for in this example, I don't have value, to take it and ask yourself, is it really true? And do I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is true? Now, at first, your mind will probably want to jump in again and go, yes, of course it's true. That's why I'm thinking it. I don't have value. But if you really feel into it, can you absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that it's true, that you don't have value? No, you actually don't know that, okay? So you don't know that it's for sure absolutely true. Question number 2, what is the cost of believing this thought? What does this thought or this belief actually cost you in your life? With your relationships, with success, with personal empowerment and confidence, with your fulfillment and happiness and joy and ease in life? What does it actually cost you? Holding on to this belief, what does it cost you in your life? And write it down. This is a great journaling exercise. Question number 3 to ask yourself, who would I be without this thought? If this thought was not a part of me, if this thought is not true, who would I be without it? So if we're taking this example of I don't have value, who would I be or who would you be without the thought that you don't have value? Well, you would be a value creator in the community, because you would be out there and you would be putting yourself out there. You would be sharing your knowledge and your gifts and your ideas and your insights with the world without the limitation that you don't have value, right? You'd be free and liberated to get out and share what you know. Okay, so then the last and final question, number 4, which is the most powerful one, is to ask yourself, okay, so this is my belief, but how could the opposite of my belief also be true? So we're reversing the thought or reversing the belief around to see how the opposite can also be just as true, if not more true. So in this example, if we take I don't have value and we reverse it to say I do have value, how can you find ways that that is true? So again, you'll probably have some internal resistance to this at first, because you'll be saying to yourself, your mind will jump in and say, but I really strongly believe that I don't have value and I'm holding on to this limitation. But you gotta just work through this exercise and ask yourself, okay, how can the opposite also be true? Find a handful of ways that you feel like you do have value. Okay, so maybe you are an amazing mother and you know how to talk to your children in such a way that really impacts them and helps them and guides them. Okay, maybe you are just a superstar at your job with organization and helping people get clarity and organized with their lives. That's a really big strength. Okay, so maybe you are somebody who is extremely passionate about nonprofits, about charities, about giving back and helping people. That's amazing value. That enthusiasm and passion is something that is incredibly valuable to the world. Okay, so you're just listing off a handful of ways, even if it doesn't necessarily relate to business or whatever the limiting belief was originally associated to, that's okay. So we're just finding ways that the opposite of your belief can be true. So what's interesting is if your belief has anything to do with another human being, so let's say, you know, you're in a business partnership and you feel like your business partner is maybe taking advantage of you, right? You feel like your business partner is possibly taking advantage of you and you're upset and you're, you know, like getting all angry and all this stuff. Well, actually, this world, our reality, all people are mirrors for us. So whatever we see in another person and whatever we react to in another person is also something that we're reacting to within ourselves, whether we want to consciously admit it or not. So if we take a look at this example, it can be quite disturbing to think, oh, well, wait, if I reverse that thought, that means that I am taking advantage of my business partner. So then you can think to yourself, okay, well, how could I possibly be taking advantage of him? How could that be true, since we do live in a world of mirrors? So you can say to yourself, well, since I've been holding on to this belief that he's been taking advantage of me, I have been withholding information from him. I've been withholding information. I've been a little bit more secretive. So if I were to remove that belief and just take a look at how I've been reacting and acting, I have actually been withholding information and possibly taking advantage of our partnership in just another form. Okay, so it's a really fascinating exercise when you get deep into it and you really take a look at your limiting beliefs, not always just necessarily with business, but also just with life in general, with people. And this is something that I have been doing a heck of a lot lately, not just with limiting beliefs in business, but also relationships and just life in general, taking a look at, okay, this is the belief that's coming up for me, but going through the process of, you know, how do I know this is, or can I know for sure that this is really true? What is the cost what is the cost right now of believing this thought? Who would I be without it? And fourth, how can the reverse of this also be true? And it will blow your mind what you actually discover about the nature of our beliefs, because you see that these beliefs that we feel are so real and so tangible actually come crumbling and crashing down when we go through this four-step process, because we see that they are totally illusions in the first place and that they actually are not true and are costing us our energy and our enthusiasm and our life force and our power and our potential, and it's doing so unnecessarily. But I'm telling you, it really is number 4 that gets you, because there's always a way that you can find the reverse to be true, and it just completely helps to dismantle the limiting belief, because then your mind starts shifting and you start seeing that you actually, whatever you were holding on to with your belief is actually not as true as you thought it was. So with limiting beliefs, again, because they can be so deeply ingrained, it's not something that going through this process, doesn't necessarily guarantee that your limiting beliefs will be gone the first time around. But what starts happening is it's like your mind is gripping your belief like this, okay? It's just tightly holding on. And by going through this process, what starts happening is you start to slowly loosen the grip to where instead of holding on tightly for dear life, maybe your grip is kind of like this. It's just, really, really soft. And then eventually it starts to completely dissipate and disappear. And that's when you can really be free and liberated to just let your true personal power really come out and really express itself in your life, in business, in relationships, in every single area and facet. So I really hope that you got a lot out of this video here today. And again, I know that my life has literally drastically changed since I started doing this exercise, and I'm not kidding you. So I would love for you to just take a moment here today, grab a pen and paper, write down a limiting belief that has been recurring in your life, and go through the 4-step process just on paper really quickly and see what type of power starts coming through. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. If you have anything to share, anything to add, or just any questions, feedback at all, I always love hearing from you. And do me a favor and help spread the word about this video on Twitter and Facebook and any other social sites that you're a part of. So have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks so much.